And take us away.
Hey, guess what? Now I have decent audio quality.
We can hear Martin's lovely voice.
Yeah, lovely seems like a stretch, but
No, it's like this really is incredible. Like, you sound completely different. It's amazing.
yeah. How we mentioned last time that we were looking into using Skype. Now we're actually doing that, and it's working great. So.
Yeah, like I'm, like it's just like the accent is so much lesser. It's just like it's so clear and crisp. It's like I was kind of stunned the first time I had heard it.
Yeah. So yeah, now we have Skype to work with.
Yes, and we've never actually used Skype before right now, so I'm guessing you're not going to be dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, I would assume so. If I am, then we'll know in about a half hour.
Yeah. Well, actually, well, yeah, probably about a half hour. I have no idea. The problem with Google, with Gmail, the calling is that it was all over the place.
Yeah, like sometimes there's an hour, sometimes there's 90 minutes, sometimes it's 3 hours.
Yeah, there was no consistency.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like 45 minutes.
Yeah, like, and it was always right on it too. Well, except for like one or two times, so it was always right on that mark.
Yeah.
No goddamn sense. But yeah, today we're doing Eerie Cuties.
Yes. Which, this one's going to be an interesting one just because I'm not entirely sure how it's going to break down in terms of what we say. Like, we kind of know what we're going to say, it's just like we're not really sure how it's all going to come out or how in detail we're going to go in.
Yeah, how we're going to describe it. It's both a very good and very bad comic.
Yeah,
which I think it's a good way of summing it up.
Yeah, it's kind of a comic that shows flashes of greatness but doesn't really deliver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a very good sum up. Basic premise is there's a school in Canada, because that's where the writers live, as you do. But there's a school for monsters, a normal high school, and if you were, say, a vampire or a werewolf and you had a child of high school age, you would send them there. And it's and this school is it's designed and built and staffed by monsters.
Yes.
And
that seems to be about a good way to sum it up. I mean, it's a very basic premise.
Yeah, and we have our main leads are these two vampire sisters, Layla, the elder one, and Nina, the younger one. Nina is a freshman, Layla's, I'm guessing, a senior, but and Nina is attending her very first year at this. I actually can't recall the name of the school. Oh, it's right there, Charybdis Heights. This is probably the name of a monster, which I'm not getting right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Granted, one thing that'll probably become quite apparent is there's sort of a reason you wouldn't remember the school.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll fucking talk about that. But yeah, it's just about this group of monsters going to high school and sort of interacting, and it's almost sort of Addams Family-ish in the way that's set up. And I'm not I mean, it's sort of, the monsters are well researched and they are kind of clever about it, and as opposed to a Munsters kind of setup where it would just be like boring and brainless. I'm saying it right now, the Addams Family is way fucking better than the Munsters. Deal with it.
I'll just go ahead and throw out that as a kid I hated all real monsters, and I'm still not inclined to give it a look.
I don't remember it that well.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a while. I don't recall it being that good when I watched it, but whatever. Whatever. Well, anyway, as a kid, like, we would hear the Munsters Addams thing for me, and I was a huge Addams Family fan as a kid. I still am as an adult. I'm guessing the name had something to do with it, but yeah, it's just this school, these students, and their work together, and there are some problems with that being the premise, which we'll discuss, but that's basically it.
Yes. Okay. So I guess right off the bat here we should start with the cast.
Yeah, yeah. You want to start us off, or should I keep going, or?
Uh, sure, you handle it because I'm trying to find something I want to bring up later.
Okay. Like I said, the main two characters are the Delacroix sisters. Delacroix.
Is that how you pronounce it? I always figured it was Delacroix.
It is Delacroix. Fuck it. Damn. I'm the one who lives I live in Louisiana. There are French names everywhere. Why was I not the one who got that?
Yeah.
Like everywhere I go, there are names like De Villiers and Como and all these French names. God fucking damn it! I am really embarrassed by this. But yeah, shit. Yeah, the Delacroix sisters. There's Nina. Nina is.
She.
We'll just.
For lack of an alternative, she's the main character.
Yes, very good. Yeah. Default main character. She's this vampire, but she's not like typical vampires in that she's very sort of bubbly and happy-go-lucky, and sort of, even though I think she's 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though she's 14, she sort of acts like she's 8. You know, like she's a little kid, and she's very sweet and very friendly and very loving, and that works. And she's on the whole a very likable, very, for the most part, very funny character in that she's.
Yeah, and she eats chocolate instead of blood.
Yeah. She, for some reason, she can't drink blood. She can only, instead, she gains sustenance and strength from chocolate.
Yeah. They mentioned a couple different explanations on that. One was that she was born on Easter, and the other one was the weird, what is her name?
The doll?
What? No. Well, I mean, it relates to the doll. I should know this. The vampire queen woman.
Oh, shit. Queen. I think it starts with a D. God damn it. Fuck. In every other part of Layla world, blah, 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 blah. Fuck it. Teen, Queen. Damn.
It starts with a Q.
I think it's Quintessa.
Yeah, that's it, Quintessa. Okay, so, yeah, point is...
I'm just going to say Queen Dracula.
Yeah. Point is, that's not one of the more interesting characters, and we'll get to her.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. Anyway.
Yeah. So... Yeah, they mentioned a couple different explanations for why she eats chocolate, but it's hard to tell which one's actually true.
Anyway, chocolate is... Like, she eats chocolate, not blood. Like, that's her source of sustenance. Shit. Anyway, her older sister is sort of, honestly, sort of comes off like she would be the Diamond Tiara of the school, except they already have one.
Yeah.
She's
I don't know.
like,
they seem to imply that she is more the one, and the other ones we see are just trying to take her position.
Yeah. She's sort of like they don't play her as mean enough, but she's mainly just the sort of stuck up, super popular, snooty, mean girl kind of.
Yeah, who like everybody wants to be a best friend of or wants to date.
Yeah. Except they don't really play her as like sort of as mean as you would expect for a character like that. She's sort of.
Yeah, and it's not like they play it like she's particularly nice either. She just seems just kind of vaguely unpleasant.
Yeah, but at the same time, she doesn't really bully anyone that much. I mean, not maliciously.
Yeah.
We don't really like the character that much, if you couldn't tell. The character is very... fuck it, we'll talk about the consistency another time, but there's this other girl, Chloe. She's a succubus. Like a little succubus, and the reason she doesn't look that sexy right now is because she hasn't hit puberty yet, which I'm going to keep going until we hit that, but...
I wouldn't get too attached to Chloe. She doesn't actually stick around that long.
Yeah, but when she was around, she was very good. Anyway, her main thing is that even though she's a succubus who's supposed to, allure, entice, and seduce men, she winds up she's actually, she's kind of at that age where boys are sort of where she's sort of shy and nervous around boys, and she doesn't know if she's sort of Yeah, there she is. She has puberty. She doesn't know if she wants to be around guys that much. It's sort of very normal, like normal teenage stuff. But we have Cade, who's basically who's I don't even know if they actually say what race he is. I'm just gonna say anime boy.
Yeah, I think he's some kind of cat demon. I mean, he's obviously cat something.
Yeah, he's cat something, but I don't know. Is there like any sort of Western monster who's a cat? Is there some sort of cat man in Western monster stories?
I don't know. I figured he was just the cat version of Inuyasha.
He's an anime boy.
Yeah.
He's not a monster. He's just a guy from an anime.
Yeah.
He's like a white-haired, pretty, sexy boy.
Yeah. Who's also really dim-witted and.
Yeah, and really and at the same time, really coy and playful. It's just you would see this guy in an anime.
Yeah, and his thing is he's Layla's boyfriend, except they're constantly cheating on each other.
Yeah, and at the same, and it's kind of a weird sort of cheating on each other. It's not that they have an open relationship, but
it's more just neither of them minds that much.
Yeah, it's they get mad when they find out the other one is doing it, but it's not super mad. It's just how dare you? Fuck it, let's go make out.
Yeah, which again this time relates to a problem with the comic.
Yeah, it does. And this guy right here is Ace. He's a werewolf boy, but he's kind of going through that awkward stage that you get to when you're a teenager, and he's a little bit shy about it. His hands are perpetually. Okay, not paws and not claws upon looking, but just kind of hairy.
Yeah.
Nina develops a very quick crush on him, which because apparently we're working on Twilight logic, is bad because vampires and werewolves do not mix.
Yeah.
I know. I'm wanting to say Twilight didn't come up with that, but I can't think I can't think of another precedent.
I know Van Helsing did that.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm talking about the cast. I'm actually kind of annoyed. There's no Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, it seems like there would be.
I am Adam Frankenstein, your literature teacher. Have him be that ugly, nervous kid who's fucking his sister.
Yeah. Also, I'm leafing through some pages here on my end too, and I just want I just want to bring one up real quick.
Yeah, let me see.
There. Just because I can't help but read that in Isabella's voice.
You say what?
Here, the page I linked to. I just can't help but read that in Isabella's voice.
You're right. God damn it. It's honestly really easy to hear it coming out of that character.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, other characters are, Nina, it turns out, has a doll. It's like a possessed doll, but it's sort of owned by, but it's possessed by the body of a middle-aged, horny man, and so it's sort of the pervert humor kind of thing they would see in DBZ or that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Which, initially, he's kind of alone in that, initially.
Yeah, well, again, we'll talk about that later, which is sort of a catchphrase for these things, but...
Yeah, with this particular comic, there's going to be a lot of it, yeah, but then...
Yeah. Brooke, who I think... Can you take her? Because I'm honestly sort of blanking on how to talk about her.
Brooke is initially introduced as being sort of the kind of laid-back, cool, straight man of the cast.
Yeah.
And she's a snake monster. You don't actually see that often. Initially, she's the calm, collected, kind of normal one.
Yeah.
That doesn't really last. Ish. And the comic does, she's actually a good example of certain things, because the comic early on kind of seems to kind of be legitimately working the storyline of her maybe being bisexual, but not really sure.
Wait, is it really not sure?
Yeah, at the start, yeah, it's at the start she doesn't seem to be really entirely comfortable with it or really know.
Huh.
It's just then later
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I guess we kind of talked about all the tasks that needs to be brought up. I don't know. Should we go ahead and talk about Quintessa, or should we get to that later?
Yeah, we'll get to it later. Honestly, let's sum this up right now. So the reason we're talking about more than usual about about why there are going to be problems later is because the comic starts off incredibly strong.
Yes,
but it takes.
Like, it doesn't start out perfect, but it has a very promising start. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is a very interesting cast. It's very colorful. It's very varied, and the setting is really interesting. It's like a very fascinating sort of like this school and these characters interacting in a school setting does sound really cool. Like honestly, looking at these again, I forgot how absolutely strong this opening was.
Yes,
like
because early on it shows off the cast and ideas, various issues with them, and also serves to just show you this setting and show you all the various things you can do with it. And there's so much you can do with this setting.
Yeah, like look at their gym teacher is a pirate ghost.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Oh, like just looking at these settings, I can think of some just looking at some of this stuff, I can think of a lot of much better like storylines that they actually wound up doing. Like,
yep.
What if one of the teachers at the school was a ghost? It was like a fake monster. It was like a monster. It was like a human dressed up as one, and they had to uncover that, like backwards Scooby-Doo or something.
Yeah, well, there is that one girl or that one teacher who's the only one you ever see anymore, who does seem to be human. But no one seems to mind.
Was it the possessed hand guy?
No, the woman.
Oh yeah. I mean, I want to say she had some sort of thing, but like it's so minor, she might as well not.
Her cast page just lists her as human with a question mark, but I don't recall anything ever weird being done with her.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like one of the teachers there is basically Mawile.
Yeah. Which, okay, it's not like it's an actual figure in Japanese mythology, but fuck it, we don't know anything about it aside from Pokemon, so it's Mawile.
Yeah. Oh, I looked at the cast page. It says Cade's a werecat.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a thing.
Well.
Wait, why am I saying? Wait, you say Mawile? I just realized that.
Yeah.
I say Molly.
Huh.
Or Molly at some points.
Okay.
This is a common thing wherever we talk on the phone. Oh, how do you say this one Pokemon name?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So going right into positives, this setting is incredible.
Yes. And the setting is like very well done, and it just like there is a lot you can do with this. You get a very quick flair for like what these people are like, and even to a degree what the town itself is like.
Yeah. Like this is you immediately feel immersed.
Yeah.
In a way that's so quick, I'm actually kind of envious.
Yeah. It's like it's from people who know what they're doing in terms of comics, like on some level. Because I know they've been working with comics before and stuff. Like there was I know officially it's Menage a Trois, but because of the way they write the name, I always read it as Menage a Three.
Yeah. This is from a semi-professional comic company. They're called Pixie Tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever actually get to that one because we really haven't decided.
Yeah, I would like to do it, and yeah. Like
let's
honestly,
see,
I'm just gonna touch on this to show like the professionalism of the comic. The artist, like the group, I don't know how many people are involved in it. I know it's at least 2. They did Archie. They actually do official artwork for Archie Comics.
Yeah, which you can see that in the art style. It is very Archie-ish.
Yeah. And I remember at one point I walked into Paper Heroes, my local comic book shop, and I just looked on the new rack, on like the rack for the new comics of that week. There was that Archie comic, and I noticed that was the same team. They were doing like this like, oh wow, that's so surreal. They're like I'm holding in my hand a print version of the comic, and I looked there were these two guys talking in the corner, and I said like, "Hey, do either of you read Ménage à Trois?" And if you don't know, Ménage à Trois is a raunchy comic. It's like sex joke. It's like almost nothing but sex jokes.
Yeah.
And
that's one reason we're not really sure if we might do that one, is because actually a lot of the issues we don't have with this comic are also present in it.
Yeah, like it's sort of like but Ménage à Trois is almost softcore porn.
Yeah.
But which makes it so weird that it's doing something like so squeaky clean as Archie. But I turned to the guys and I'm just like, "Hey, did either of you read Ménage à Trois?" And one of them was like, "Oh yeah, Ménage à Trois," or like, those two guys having butt sex on that guy's drawing table. I just held up the comic. I was like, these are the same guys. Yeah. And it was just like a few good bits of laughter. It's just like, that's so bizarre.
For what it's worth, the thing he mentioned there, that is the first page of the comic.
Yeah, like I said, raunchy as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry to get off on that,
right.
But
But yeah, I just wanted to go into that real quick. But the point is, people know what they're doing, and that's not their first time either. Because I know the artist at least worked on Penny and Eddie, which again I don't know if we'll talk about that one or not.
Yeah.
Because neither of us has read all the way through it. I've read some of it.
But, I don't think I've read any of it.
Yeah. I didn't figure, but I said I didn't actually make it through archive binging on that comic, which should probably tell you something about my opinion of it. But was just the artist, and the art on the comic was good. So,
yeah.
So, in your case, back to the positives, though.
Yeah, the setting is really good. The premise is really good.
Yeah, the first few chapters are very good.
Yeah, and like even the interaction between the characters, like looking over this little, oh holy shit, I should probably start drawing. God damn it.
Yes, true.
Yeah, we probably shit.
It's okay. We're only about 20 minutes in.
Wait, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, huh. I don't think I knew that you could see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it showed. Yeah, the time the phone conversations with Ryan runs both ways on Skype.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, shit. Okay. Yeah, 20 minutes in. Still, it's pretty. I think we're gonna have a lot to say about this one.
Yeah. Like, this is probably gonna be one of those long ones. So just
strap in, people.
Because we really haven't even gotten to our point yet.
Oh God, no. But well, in a sense, we have, because it starts out good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. You want to?
Yeah. Saying like as we've shown here, like the comic starts out very well. It starts out strong.
Yeah, like even the interactions between the characters. I forgot how great. Like that little story arc where Nina first gets kind of a crush on Ace was really fun. Was like so cute, and I'm so. Again, if you see my stuff, I'm crazy about cute.
Yeah. Which and also one thing that I will throw out a bone on right here from the get-go is, even though I don't like where it went, the comic is actually surprisingly good for the kind of genre it is at foreshadowing stuff. Because the quintessa thing, that doesn't come up for a while, but they actually foreshadow that a lot.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I don't know, the way it does eventually wind up, assuming we're wrong on what we think is going to happen, the way it eventually does wind up going is stupid as fuck, given the fact that it was foreshadowing that way.
Yeah, I'm just saying, at least like the comic does have a surprising bit of that kind of level of stuff, given the genre.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how much of this is planned in advance, because a lot of the comic comes off like it isn't.
It really does. Like this again. This is kind of I really want to get into the negatives. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and try and keep with the positive.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of running out on those.
Yeah.
The artwork is wonderful.
Yes.
Especially here in these early pages, because it's the coloring is incredible.
Yeah.
But
every now and then the humans kind of have this weird little yellow tint to them that's kind of strange. But outside of that, the coloring looks very nice.
Yes, the coloring is wonderful. But the problem kind of is that owing to that, very very early in, the comic becomes kind of the the color gets dropped and it goes into black and white, which I can understand. I mean,
Yeah.
it was almost certainly done because I'm just gonna skip forward to show you. It was almost certainly done because the coloring was so good it probably took a ton of time.
Yeah, and they were introducing a lot of other content at the time, which we'll go ahead and throw that out there right now. The people making it keep themselves too busy for their own good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem.
Maybe with us running 3 comments at once and also doing the podcast, we probably shouldn't talk. But
yeah, I was trying to think of like a nice way to segue into that, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it just does like all those comments on that little drop down menu there. They have some sort of hand in all of those.
Yeah, and we don't know how much. We've never met these people, but
yeah, and then
wait. We should probably say we have. We don't chat with them every night, but we have been in contact with these people.
Yes, and they do seem quite nice.
Yeah, they seem like really friendly. Like sometimes when there's sort of a hierarchy for artists or for people who are for people who do stuff on the internet, and there's some they seem like really friendly. They don't act like they're too good for us or anything. They seem like these people seem very wonderful.
Yeah, we sent them in a. Yeah, back whenever we really first started, which
I want to talk about it.
We sent them a page we did that at the time we were really proud of, and just whenever they were looking for people to do some filler for them, and like they did kind of point out some like positives of the art and kind of some areas we did improve, so it is nice.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't mind. Like, actually, after we post this, I'd kind of like to send this back. I'd kind of like to link them to this.
Yeah, which I don't know. I always kind of feel weird about that, just because it's like you always wonder, is the person going to take offense at the fact that honestly we're probably going to have a lot of negative stuff to say about this.
Yeah, that's a good point. You sort of made me want to do that again. Yeah, like you suddenly made me double think that.
Yeah, well.
Again, we try not to be unfair in these things because we feel because we've taken criticisms for our own comics before, and it doesn't bother us because we don't think because it only really bothers us personally if we feel like they're being unfair.
Yeah, and in this case, to be fair, a lot of our complaints are basically going to amount to the kind of comment they wound up making is not the one that it looked like it was going to be.
That's actually kind of a good sum up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do we have anything else on positives, or can we suddenly start dumping on it?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Well, I would like to go ahead and throw out that even nowadays, now we really don't have that much to say about it. I had good to say about it. They do still tend to start a storyline out well.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Like a lot of, like we think that a big problem is that storylines go south very quickly, but the storylines start out really good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them start off as just like, yeah, I want to see what's going to happen. Like, this is really fascinating.
The talent still has enough good moments and like good hooks to things that like even now we kind of read it and just kind of keep hoping. It's just we found ourselves let down a lot, which we'll get into that.
Oh, actually, we're kind of wrapping up positives and starting negatives at the same time here, which I like it when we do that. But yeah, it's like comic storylines start in a very fascinating way, but it's like there's the potential. It's like kind of squandered potential in a way,
and that allows us to get right into our next. Oh no, you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good example. One character that I really liked that they brought in. There was the comic doesn't really. Okay, we have these bullies here, but they barely show up. The comic doesn't really have any kind of like consistent villain because it's there's no real bad guy.
Yeah, outside of that witch girl who, again, we'll go into that.
Yeah, I was about to bring her up. There's and then later in the story. Later in the comic, they introduce a kind of brand new villain called kind of brand new bad guy called Tia Darkness. And
I was talking about a different witch.
Oh, okay, yeah, but yeah, wait, which witch?
I was talking about the main character of Magic Chicks.
Oh, yeah. Fuck her. No, yeah. Yeah, but and suddenly there was a new storyline, and it introduced a new character called Tia Darkness. And Tia Darkness's idea is that she's like Nina. She's like childish and young, and so they're sort of the same height and same build, and they have the same mannerisms, except Tia is like evil.
Yeah, she's like really bratty.
Yeah, like she's a spoiled brat. Like Nina is a nice little girl. Tia is a spoiled brat, and it worked. It was like a really great character dynamic. Yeah. But she didn't wind up doing anything interesting or even that funny.
Yeah. And her Nina don't even actually interact that much.
Yeah, it's like you have Bizarro and Superman in the same movie, but they never fight.
And to its credit, there have been storylines between the two of them. The current one right now on paper is about the two of them, though it's really not. Yeah. Which
again, that's another thing that we kind of have a problem with, is that we said by default that Nina is by default the main character.
Yeah, that's because the comic doesn't have any consistency in anything.
Yeah. It's like the comic is kind of like she gets a lot of screen time. The comic is sort of about her, but she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it's like she seems to be the main character because she's the first character you see.
Yeah, it's like she's on screen a lot, but a lot of times she's just like it's sort of like this comic here. It's like there's interaction between Chloe and Brooke, and she's doing funny stuff in the background and saying funny things, but she's not really the focus. The focus is on these two, and so. But at the same time, Nina is kind of the main character.
And most storylines that come up set up Nina as the main character, and then she just gets pushed off to the side, and it just focuses on whatever else comes in.
Yeah. That's a really, because like we said, we like Nina. Nina is probably one of the better characters in this comic, but.
That relates to the big problem with the comic in general, is there is a serious lack of focus. Like, that's the biggest thing. There is no consistency on anything. There is no, like you can never guarantee that what's going to come next.
And we don't mean that in a good way.
Yeah, it's like...
It's not like in a it keeps you guessing sort of way.
Yeah, it's more in the writers come off like they have ADD sort of way.
Which, again, we know we bitch about this a lot, but that's a problem for us with a lot of webcomics. They feel, it's especially weird for a comic that feels as professional as this, that looks as professional and as this, but it feels like there is no, it feels like they need an editor.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It feels as though they just... It feels like it's made up page to page, which makes it weird, like I said, that there is stuff that's foreshadowed.
Yeah, it's sort of like... Yeah, it really does feel like they need to focus in on this, because these characters, like, the setting... Like, for example, we brought up that this is a great setting. This is a great school, and the teachers are really funny and very interesting, but you never really see the teachers. The teachers never really show up.
Yeah, like those Lizards kids. You probably saw them a lot when Adam was looking through the start of the comic. After that, they basically don't show up again.
Yeah, like when we were looking at the beginning of the comic, there was this, like, the groundskeeper was Jason Voorhees. You know, it was like a Jason Voorhees style serial killer, and that's really funny. You know, like, even though he's this big, like, broody serial killer, Nina was able to go up to him and say, like, hi, Mr. I'm just gonna call him Jeff because I forgot the name. Like, hi, Mr. Jeff, and then, like, and they sort of,
oh, his name's Jeffrey.
Oh shit.
Yeah, look at the cast page.
Yeah, but, like, you know, he like takes her by her hand and, like, gently leads her to the place, and, like, everyone's like, oh, he's so scary, but, like, oh no, he's nice, and that's really funny, but I don't think you see him again. Like, he just vanishes.
And that is for a lot of people. Like, the girl or the teacher with the mouth in the back of her head.
Yeah, Molly.
I don't think you see her again. Like, okay, yeah, I can think of at least once when you do, but not in any major capacity.
Yeah, like after the first couple of storylines, it stops taking place at the. It might as well stop taking place at the school. There are no school jokes.
Yeah, the school just becomes an area for people to interact. Like, there is no, There's no structure to it. There is no stool.
Who the fuck sets Who the fuck sets a comic in a school and then never shows the kids in class? When the fuck do you do that?
Which, in taste, you're one of the many people who doesn't read our comments. That's a joke.
Yeah,
we can't judge.
Yeah, I have a comic set in a school, and as a point of I think by now just out of stubbornness, I never actually show the kids in class.
Yeah. Which, granted, at least the thing is, there you at least show the student body. They at least do something.
Yeah, well, especially now, I'm trying to get back into that. I show it's still set in the school. Stuff still happens in the school, but even then, I hate when we actually kind of start plugging our own stuff out of nowhere. But in that case, it's sort of more. It's not really a school. It's not really sort of a slice of life kind of happy. It's sort of like a high school romance kind of story. It's a superhero story.
Yeah, which in general, and this relates to that proto-main character thing. There is this. This isn't just a problem limited to the main or to minor characters. A lot of people will, even Nina, will disappear at times for several chapters in a row, and then suddenly show up and be the central part of a central focus of a storyline.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm wondering if she really disappears for several chapters in a row, or if she's there but she's just not doing anything.
Yeah.
Because again, they don't give her anything to do.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of storylines are sort of set up so that Nina will. It looks like. Oh, you okay?
Yeah, just clear my throat.
Okay. A lot of storylines are set up so that it looks like Nina is going to be able to do something cool, but she doesn't. Again, the sort of when Tia Darkness showed up, evil Nina, we were sort of thinking that. We were sort of wondering that when there were going to be a showdown, when they were going to, really go at it, have a climax to that kind of thing. Or at the
very least, do a real chapter focus on who they've been in conflict, which, yeah, they have been, but anytime there's been a storyline like that, the focus turns to somebody else.
Yeah, it's kind of just, again, it's like they have ADD. We're suddenly looking at something, and then it just kind of, slips away.
Yeah, I think it relates to how, on a certain level, how it doesn't know if it wants to do storylines or be guided day.
Yeah. Again, there's no focus. Again, it kind of feels, it's like, it sort of wants to be, here when it starts out, it really feels like a sort of a shoujo romance comic with a little macabre, with sort of a macabre twist.
Yeah, which, honestly, the macabre thing also completely stops after the intro.
Yeah.
After that, you basically don't see, people, you see Layla drinking blood quite a bit in this. I don't think you ever see her do it again.
No, they just kind of mention it. You don't really actually see her drinking blood.
Yeah. Which, it's not something you should just put in for the sake of it. It just feels like the comic, honestly, pun partially intended. It feels like it loses its fangs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, a lot of the storyline, it feels like it's supposed to be some sort of Azumanga-ish storyline, but then it just sort of trails off into a weird direction.
Yeah, and as said, there's also this thing of, story arcs never pay off the way you would expect. There's one where everyone is still swapping genders.
Oh, fucking God.
Which, it does that for about half of the chapter, and then just in the middle of it, suddenly everybody's turning into hot blondes instead.
Yeah. And we're going to say this right. Oh, God, there's so much bad. There's so much stuff I want to complain about. It's hard for me to keep a solid focus. Shit. Okay, fan service was... Okay, well, let's talk about the... I don't know, is there any other, point we can make on the consistency? Our character.
Yeah, true. I wonder if... Yeah, should I go ahead and go into Brooke?
Yeah, go into Brooke. I think that's gonna be you.
And it makes for a good lead into the fan service thing, too.
Yes.
Okay, the thing about bloat is bloat is probably the most inconsistent character, which is saying a lot.
And we want to point out that like this isn't just all the characters, with the exception of maybe Nina and Ace, all the characters are very inconsistently written in terms of characterization.
And even they have their moments.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Ace more so, but Nina has her moments too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with bloat, they kind of where I mentioned that she kind of does the straight man thing at first. After a time, they start I don't think they realize it, but they start making her really horrible.
Yeah, this is I don't think they realize it because this was also a problem they had with their other comic Menage a Trois. Like, without realizing it, they made a character absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, as I said, at first with bloat, they just kind of hint at her not really being kind of uncomfortable with the whole bisexual thing and all that. Eventually, she just goes off the deep end with it, to where she's dating multiple people at a time, or
which we have the same problem with Venus Envy. That is not an admirable character trait.
Yeah. The Love and Leaving type kind of works that the character's supposed to be kind of an outlaw and stuff, and if they're charismatic enough to pull it off. But with her, she just comes off as really inconsistent and kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
But she does complain about people doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I guess maybe is kind of part of the joke. Sort of chew someone out for doing something bad, and then doing a bad thing herself. Thinking she's above it all.
Doesn't want to play it that way. It just
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off like a joke.
Yeah. And then there was this page is just seriously just baffling me. Okay, the Quintessa thing.
Yeah.
I guess this is the time to bring that up. Quintessa, basically evil vampire queen, whatever.
Who takes possession of Layla's body.
Yeah. So I wish she'd taken possession of Layla's body. This would be way more interesting if it crossed over Futurama.
Oh, yeah, I could totally see that happening on the show too.
Yeah. Yeah, okay,
Leela gets captured by, gets taken over by a Cyclops god, and, it'd be cool.
Yeah, essentially, there's the part where she's about to kill Ace, and, Brooke manages to, break in to stop her, and then all Quintessa has to do is hit on her, and she's just yeah, you know what, I'm gonna let you kill him.
Yeah, okay, stop and say that out loud. You're perfectly fine with letting this character aid in murder of another very popular character. It's
her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, they were dating
up.
at a point, and now she's completely fine with killing him for the sake of a hot chick. And you also, get the sense it's supposed to be oh, it's just a joke, ha ha ha. But no, it's the comic doesn't feel like it's gaggy enough. Gaggy, that's not really a adjective. It's sort of jokey enough to get away with that kind of humor.
Yeah, and also the reason she dumped him in the first place, I don't think this is what they were going for, but this is the way it came off. Is because for a while Ace was under the effects of a spell that made him look more attractive.
Yeah, he stopped getting the furry hands. He started getting
He became taller.
Yeah. He was wearing his hair differently, and he had he was sort of more muscularly built.
Yeah, and once that was removed, the next time you see them together after that, she's broken up with him off screen. It comes off she legitimately dumped him until she just didn't he was less attractive.
Yeah, she's shallow and uncaring.
Yeah. Which that kind of thing can work, but as I said, it's just not the kind of comic.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels like there's something else on this consistency thing I'm meaning to bring up. I'm just... Oh, yeah, well, I guess... I don't know, it seems like there's something on the tip of my tongue here.
Is it about,
Oh, yeah, I guess it was probably the status quo thing I've complained about to you a lot.
Oh, yeah. This is really kind of hard to describe, but...
Yeah, okay. You know how Misfile's big problem is nothing ever changes and nothing ever happens?
Yeah.
the story is it's at the same place at all times.
Yeah, yeah.
This has the opposite problem. The story doesn't stay still long enough for you to care about anything.
Yeah, like, it's sort of like every time there's a new storyline, there's a feeling for...
Yeah. Like, the entire cast gets completely shaken up, and, like, designs change, and stats quotes change. Like, the Ace thing, like, he looked different for a while.
And
like,
before then, like we mentioned, there was a gender bending chapter, and my main problem with that chapter is that at the end, there was a joke. He's still a girl.
Yeah.
Which, if this were a jokey kind of comic, if it were like sort of a jokey gag-a-day kind of comic, then the next time we see him, he would just be a boy again for no reason.
Yeah, but
just
instead, instead, no, he stays that way for quite a while.
He stays like that for, I want to say, a couple of years, or at least 1 year in real world time.
Yeah.
It's like it's not, and like you're just sort of wondering, like, okay, when's he going to turn back? Any minute now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he went the more mature kind of body thing, which there was, like, I mean, straight into that, which there was a gap of about 3 or 4 years between you seeing his original main design.
Yeah. Which, and it's not like and this isn't coming across as sort of a character normal, normal character growth kind of thing that you would get in a story. It comes off more just like, again, kind of like they have ADD.
Yeah, nothing stays like, okay, the thing that he brought up a little bit ago that didn't mention it was on screen, where Nina was like taller and more like busty and stuff. That also lasted for quite a long time.
I don't think it was quite as long.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as long, no, but it was 2 or 3 chapters, I think.
And again, that was sort of an annoying thing. It's sort of like, there's a storyline where suddenly Nina gets through, because of Tia Darkness being through her sort of
she
magic.
She swap people's attributes.
Yeah. So Nina winds up getting really tall and really busty and sort of looking like she's older than her older sister, which is kind of fuck. Damn it. God damn it, Bodhi Flash thing. But yeah, and like the whole thing was that she gets tall and busty, and her sister Layla gets really jealous, and that seems like it would be that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, but, and the name of this chapter is Big Sister Nina.
No, I think it's Little Big Sister.
Was it?
Yeah,
I didn't remember the exact name. Whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the focus is on the 2 girls who she got those traits from.
Yeah, it's like, why? It's just, you have a setup that really focuses on Nina, and then you just turn away from it.
Yeah, and it's not like they're just multitasking either. It's like literally they just drop it.
Yeah, and then with very little ceremony, Nina loses those traits, which again could be funny, but it just feels more like there was something there that wasn't followed up on.
Yeah. And also on the status quo thing, the Layla and Cade thing, like at the start they set them up as the established couple, and like they do jokes with them cheating on each other, all that, but that seems like the thing.
Yeah.
And then just out of nowhere, Layla has a new boyfriend who you've never seen before.
Well, no, they brought that up. Like she was being like, the thing was her parents had put her in an arranged marriage, and then suddenly.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, it's just like out of nowhere, she's suddenly just like constantly seen with this guy, and you never really did any introduction as to who he is.
Yeah, and it's really inconsistent. Again, this guy was really inconsistent too. It's like, okay, are he and Layla still dating? Did they break up because she's still with Cade a lot? It's like, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, and the relationship mechanics between them change back and forth so much, it's impossible to get engrossed in anything.
Yeah, like it's just honestly very hard to keep everything straight. And that can work in some things, like in Breaking Bad. There was no status quo in Breaking Bad, but that's just kind of the story that's just kind of the story that it was. If you're gonna both for a teen romance and for a gag comic, you need to have more of a status quo if you're going to do this.
Yeah. Just like there needs to be some sort of status quo so you care when it changes.
Yeah.
Like if things are constantly changing and constantly being completely overhauled and the focus is constantly shifting, it's hard to get engrossed in anything.
And from a gag point of view, like you can't if things are not consistent, you don't know. Jokes come from the unexpected, and or sort of from like or from a noted interesting character. And if the characters are always changing, or if you never know what to expect, you can't get jokes.
Yeah. I guess we should move on to the next point, because we're almost an hour into this, and we're not halfway through the list.
Oh, God damn it. And we probably do need to finish sometime.
Although we did kind of talk about one thing more than we sort of intended to.
Fan service?
Early on. I don't know, I was talking about the thing after that. We kind of talked about that as part of the consistency thing. So
yeah, the morality. Because, like we said, I think we kind of said all we needed to say, because it's just that Brooke was the worst of it, but a lot of times the characters feel... Again, it sort of feels like they're being played for gags, but they do like horrible, horrible things, which you can't really laugh off.
Yeah, and a comic that doesn't set itself up that way, so it doesn't feel right. Like, at least with their other main comic we talked about, MA3, like, at least with that, there's at least a like from the word go, you're kind of plunged into what kind of world this is.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, with EC, it just kind of becomes that way. And rolling right along.
Fan service.
The comic kind of has a little bit of it at the start, but not that much. Like, it feels more story focused, but at a time, it really does start coming off with the comic's only being written to come up with the next like thing that will make somebody like, ooh.
I'm gonna stop you. Like, I don't know who to draw next.
Ace.
Yeah, I'm like which Ace?
Just the full time.
I'm gonna go.
Do Blair. That'd be interesting.
Oh yeah. I might. Yeah, I'll do Blair. What the hell? Like really tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, fan service. The thing was for a lot.
Now you're saying.
The thing was for a lot of the comic, coming off with especially with having sort of sort of as a result of having such a sort of innocent character like Nina for the main character, it has sort of a very PG, well, not quite PG, but 13, but sort of a very innocent vibe to it.
Yeah, like fan service exists, but like it's mostly through the situations. Like the only character who really like heavily indulges in it is like Blair, and that's the entire joke.
Yeah, and Chloe, but that again, that's also sort of the joke. Like she doesn't really like being a succubus.
Yeah. Speaking of Chloe, well, we're still getting to her. We didn't skip over her. Like that'll be our next point.
But yeah, characters don't like. Yeah, there's sort of an innocence to there's sort of an innocence to this kind of thing. Like even when fan service is sort of playing up, you get a sense that they're not going to do anything. Like when Nina, like when Layla is cheating on Cade, you get the feeling that oh no, they might kiss. It's not like, oh no, they might start plowing.
Yeah.
Which I like that feeling in stories. Like I like that sort of kind of cute innocence. It's not.
Yeah. I said there is a certain undertone of sexuality already there, but it's kind of to the side, and it comes mostly about through situations, not through just how the characters act.
Yeah. But then, around the time it stopped being in color, all of a sudden there were a lot of very raunchy jokes.
It really started with that gender swapping chapter, which was right before it dropped the color.
Yeah, for gender swapping, you could get like raunchy jokes, like boy in the girl's room, girl in the boy's room. Oh wow, I'm an outie instead of an innie, ha ha ha, that sort of thing. But but then all of a sudden, like the jokes, like the fan service suddenly got a lot heavier, and it felt really out of place.
Yeah, which kind of relates to that Brooke thing, is that just the characters just start acting a lot raunchier, and it's just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Again, there was fan service, but again, with Chloe. Chloe had this sort of, she had these giant busts, she was in a lot of weird sexy poses, but at the same point, you never got a sense that somebody was going to rape her, it just felt like somebody was going to kiss her.
Yeah, and, and there were perverted jokes, but it was with it was with Blair, who that was the point of the character.
Yeah, he's always grabbing panties.
Yeah, but then just the entire cast kind of becomes like that. Which, I mean, it's not as bad as Menage a Trois. Let's throw that out there right now. It's nowhere near that bad.
I think we're gonna need to do that comic just so I can bitch about that.
Yeah, because notice how we keep bringing it up. It's like, well, see, it's not as bad as that comic.
Yeah.
Like,
if you've read it, you know what we're talking about, because that's a big complaint against it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say like this: in Menage a Trois, sexual assault is completely okay.
Yeah, it's like EC's never quite gotten that bad about it, but it feels a lot of the time like it's nudging toward that territory.
Yeah, and I remember like when they first started doing these jokes, I remember thinking like, no, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like this sort of thing should be happening in this.
Yeah, and it's not like a gradual shift either. It just like this sense of humor of the comic just abruptly shifted.
Yeah, it's like it really just out of nowhere started happening.
Yeah, so yeah, and a lot of the story motivations feel okay, well, this seems like a good way to bring it up, because it's not really just fan service in terms of just like doing sexual stuff, but it also feels a lot of the time like things are just being done because the author just thinks it would make for a nice visual.
Yeah, which is kind of a sign of, which is kind of a hallmark of bad fan service. They're just doing it so they can draw it.
Yeah, which, as I said, isn't only just in terms of sexual stuff, but the comic has that kind of problem a lot. Like, the quintessa thing. I really should have put a spot in the outline for that, because I really want to talk about that, but it's not really fitting into anything in particular.
Shit, that's a good point.
Whatever, it's what's going on right now, so we'll fit it in somewhere. Yeah. Okay, yeah, with the quintessa thing, there's a point where you're seeing inside Layla's head, and you would think it would be like a bunch of like different versions of her representing her personalities, but
yeah, sort of
no.
like fuck, I know this is more common than like the only
like
example,
an episode of Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Like the episode where they go into where they go into Raven's soul, and like there's to represent her happiness. There's like a really happy Raven, and there's like a really sad Raven, and there's an angry Raven, and all that stuff.
Yeah, instead it's like it's just like a tablet of just people they wanted to draw, like
her courage is this one. This character was. We should have brought this up in positives. There's like a Buffy parody who's like really brave and hunts and kind of hunts vampires, and she like that's the bravery.
And Tiffany Winters, which God, she's a wasted character.
Yeah, again, she was like when she showed up, like she was really funny and she was really likable. You know, like she was sort of bad at, you know, she would comedically fail at hunting the vampires, but you know, she was still she was still kind of funny, and she was still trying her best, and but then like she winds up being attracted to Layla, and she just winds up being the source of gay jokes.
Yeah, which I did kind of like the storyline of where they were like best friends, but weren't like at the same time weren't committing to it, and at the same time she was like Winters was still trying to kill her.
Yeah, it's kind of like again, that's sort of funny, you know, like. You know, she turns out to be too nice. Like when she meets Layla, she's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Tiffany," and they share and they shake and they have a good time and they hang out. And then like as she's leaving, she's like, "Oh wait, I should have killed her. Ah, darn, I'm the worst vampire hunter in the world." Like that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's just like doing that. Like Layla's feelings of inadequacy is like the
envy. Her envy is
is the like tall version of Nina from a few chapters prior. Just hang on what they wanted to draw that again.
Yeah. That's just a bad problem.
Yeah. And her self-loathing is a character I don't think she's ever met.
Yeah. It's just like they just wanted to draw these characters again. It would have been kind of funnier if it were all of these different versions of Layla.
Yeah. Yeah, or like her, self-doubt's Ace. It's just weird.
Yeah. Like I just keep thinking like this would be like. I sound like the ultimate snob for saying this, but my thought for all the every time I read the comic, my thought is like, it would be better if they did this. It would be better if they did this, and da da da.
Yeah. Or her libido is, again, this goes back to that earlier point, just as it kind of shows a shift of character. Her libido is Brooke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know, the comic does have this thing that a lot of times, but on two different levels of fan service, both of the sexual kind and just kind of in general of just fans would like it if we drew this. The comic just feels very, like, I think it's a big part of why it feels so unfocused. It's just, it comes off like the authors just draw whatever they want.
Yeah, which again is a problem we have with a lot of webcomics.
Yeah.
That seems to be the major source of the source of a lot of lack of focus.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that and the pacing issues, big things we bring up. And this comic does have pacing issues.
Yeah. God damn, before we got into fan service, there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I have no idea what.
Do you have any idea what it related to?
No. But yeah, fan service in general just does not feel right for this comic. It feels like very, very out of place.
Yeah. The comic feels like initially it was character-driven, and then it became more event-driven, and it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, you're right, because again, it was sort of doing the kind of high school, it was sort of doing like the shoujo high school, like, romance kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then
it just turns into like what wacky magic thing will happen next, which is like, that doesn't really fit with this kind of genre. It would work better if it were like normal high school problems just with monsters.
Yeah, that's really funny. Again, but no, it's like, yeah, I really think I would like this more if it were to go back and sort of do and sort of go back and try being more of a slice of life but with monsters kind of thing.
Yeah, which but yeah, I guess that should move into the so long as we were talking about what's her name, Melissa, the witch girl. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's time to talk about her and Chloe.
I don't know how much I'm going to have to say about this, because I know it's a problem, but it's not really one that gets that much focus. It's like,
I don't know. There for a time it did.
Okay, the thing. Shit, I should have put podcast. Okay, but yeah, at the same time that this is going on, like we said, the creators have handled a lot of different comics at the same time. Probably too many, but
yeah. And the comic constantly feels like it's fishing for spin-offs.
Yeah, like there's Chloe was a member of the cast for a while, but then I think maybe a little bit over halfway in at this point.
I think it was under half.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
It's hard to tell when it moves.
Here, let me double check. I think that was in. I think that was in the first black and white book. Like, I think at the start of it.
Anyway,
and they're on the third one right now. So
whatever. At some point, Chloe leaves with her mom, and they leave and live in hell. Which again is kind of a normal high school. If it weren't for the storyline behind it, this would be kind of a normal high school thing. Like, my parents are moving. Yeah, we're going to hell.
Oh no, she was going there for some reform store, so to learn how to use her powers.
Yeah. Again, there was a storyline reason for it, which I feel it would have been stronger if there wasn't.
Yeah.
The thing is, immediately they'd have a spin-off for Chloe in hell, which, which again, it doesn't really bother me so much because I don't read them, but it does get kind of distracting because
It is a little weird in her case, just because she was the focus of the comic for months on end for this story arc, and then the second it finishes, she never shows up again.
Yeah, that is very obviously just fishing for the spin-off, because print comics do that a lot. Like there'll be a storyline in a really heavy, like when they want to do a spin-off for say some new hero that they just created, they'll introduce him in Justice League or some really well-selling book, and have a storyline kind of sorta about this new character, and then say if you want to read more about this character, check out their new solo series starting in August, and that
Which checking her that story arc was about mid dead on halfway through the story.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me because I don't really read it that much, but it does sort of seem it feels like honestly the comic would be stronger if if they sort of narrowed their focus a little bit.
Yeah. Then there's another. They tried to cut this out, but there for a long time there was a tendency with the other spinoff for it to straight up hijack the comic, like where the other spinoff is Magic Chicks, which is focused on this witch we complained about a few times now. Melissa, I think her name is.
Diamond Tiara.
Yeah. And who's just like really, and this applies to what I've read of Magic Chicks too, which is not a lot. There's a reason for that. Said they're kind of going for the whole like high school bully sort being brought down a peg, but she's not. Like she's just really horrible and unlikable. And I mean, there are times whenever
she's not being brought down a peg, or she's not a high school bully.
I was saying she's not like being brought down a peg. She's just acting the same way.
Oh, God damn it! We have so many fucking complaints about this comic. We're already an hour.
Yeah. Point is, they kind of cut this out, though she is in the middle of the current story arc.
Yeah.
Where she will quite often, even though she's the main character of a different comic there, she will quite often hijack this one. Like,
yeah.
And as well, other characters from a comic, they just kind of act like you're reading their other comic and don't even introduce these people.
Well, again, we kind of do that too sometimes.
I try not to. Like,
I don't know. There have been times in Black Princess and Raya's Reign where it kind of comes off like you're supposed to.
Yeah, I know there have been times that I've been guilty of it. I mean, in this, I at least kind of try not to. This one, though, they will straight up just drop on you, like, I don't know, just random characters popping up and, like, getting full-on story arcs and stuff without any, like, even giving their names.
Yeah.
Like, the story where Layla's fiance or whatever fell in love with some guy. I don't know who that guy was.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere. Yeah, it is a little bit to the detriment of the comic when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, as I said, they kind of cut that out, but there for a while, especially after Magic Chicks first launched, they were doing that a lot.
Yeah, it was very much like they were trying to hook readers.
Yeah, which, I'll say this, having read some of Magic Chicks, I didn't read far in it, but I did start reading it whenever it started. I really wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
Because it kind of seems to have all the same problems, except just if none of the tasks were likable to begin with.
Yeah. It's like, to an extent, I think Nina, maybe not the rest of the cast, but I think Nina and Ace, and in a villain sort of way, Tia are interesting. Or are sort of likable.
Well, and Winters, but...
Yeah, Winters. Again, Winters is... I kind of don't like her so much now because, like I said, she's mostly just a walking gay joke. Like,
yeah, that's the entirety of her role in Magic Chicks, too. She's the main character there.
Yeah, it's just like, it's funny because she's a lesbian, but like, as sort of like this bumbling but very friendly vampire hunter, she was really funny.
Yeah. Which at least right now, the way they're using her in the current storyline, that's what they're doing with her. So. Oh,
okay, that's cool. Oh, yeah, because she's in the Quintessa storyline. Oh, god damn it. Ah, fuck.
I guess we should roll in to talk about Quintessa.
Wait, shit. What are we on to next? Yeah, we already talked about the characterizations. We already talked about. Yeah, we're on spin-off focus. Yeah. Let's talk about Quintessa.
All right.
We're further on the list than I thought.
Yeah, we're actually toward the end.
Okay. Yeah. It's been hinted again, very skillfully hinted that, like we said, Nina doesn't eat blood. Nina eats chocolate, drinks chocolate, sucks, scrapes and licks chocolate, subsides on chocolate.
Yeah. And along the way, there have been a few mentions here and there of a vampire queen who's been long dead named Quintessa.
Yeah, and it's sort of been implied, again, very subtly, very stealthily, that Nina might be sort of the, she might be the reincarnation of Quintessa. And the reason, and they're so afraid of her, they're afraid of like the sort of power that she might have, the impact that she'd have on the world, that they're kind of, that they're intentionally making her drink chocolate.
Yeah, and there's a lot of build up to this. And then they started doing the actual storyline of it.
Yeah, and like, and I was kind of very eager, like curious, like it was kind of like, it was honestly sort of foreshadowed in such a way that you're kind of like, well, are they really going to do it or not?
Yeah.
But then they do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, this again. When a new storyline started off, it's like, oh, this seems really interesting. Where are they going to go with this? And it would have been really funny if Quintessa, like this sort of horrible, like frightening vampire queen, like Dracula with a badge, came back, and she's like this cutesy little girl, and like she still has some of Nina's mannerisms and actions, and like that would have been really funny. But then,
to be fair, that was basically that mirror storyline.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's true. Yeah. Okay.
No, I didn't go on that long, but
yeah. In that case, the joke was sort of explored, so I don't feel so bad about it. But yeah, but then all of a sudden, it turns out that there was part of Quintessa was in Nina, but like I'm kind of curious, was it like she jumped, or it was Layla all along?
They kept it vague, but it seems like the idea was it was Layla all along.
Yeah, because for a moment Nina starts acting like Quintessa, but then like she suddenly stops, and it turns out that it's actually Layla. Layla is the incarnation of Quintessa.
Yeah. It's a little vague because it happens after like Nina attacks her.
It honestly kind of feels like one part, like it was going to be, like
it was going to be like she was in Nina and just body hopped, and then they just dropped it.
Yeah, or like they wanted to do Nina, and then they said at the last minute, like, yeah, well, I want to make it Layla, let's do that, and then they just sort of switched.
Yeah, and then she just kind of becomes this like really dull character. Like,
yeah, it's like Quintessa is very boring, and we weren't really that crazy about Layla to begin with, but at least she was usually kind of interesting, mostly in the way that she would play off the other characters. Yeah,
Layla has her role, and her and Nina actually interact pretty well.
Yeah, like even aside from Nina, like Nina probably gets the best interaction because you do kind of believe that they're sisters, but in general, like she interacts very nicely with some of the like, I kind of laugh a little bit when she interacts with Cade, when she interacts with Ace. She's not particularly nice, but I don't know if she's really supposed to be.
Yeah, she works best whenever she kind of has flashes of being like, whenever she sort of has flashes of having a similar personality to Nina, just kind of buried it. She has elements of that. Yeah,
it's kind of like, she's sort of like a little kid in that she's sort of selfish and sort of, Yeah,
and she also can be kind of flighty and all that.
Yeah, that's kind of where it gets really funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Tia. I don't know if I have time yet, but I'm going to try and do Tia really quickly. Because I like Tia's design.
Yeah. Which I might as well... yeah, I'll keep with the Quintessa thing, but I'll throw... there's something I want to mention later. Okay. Yeah, with the Quintessa thing, though, it's just like... She just becomes this, like... She becomes this, like, really dull character, like, instantly highlights the entire comic. Like, everybody talked about how amazing she is and how terrifying she is and how violent she is and how sexy she is. And
it really does. Like, okay, I get that she's sort of like... And they're playing this like a villain. And sometimes for a villain, oh, God damn it.
Yeah, it's like, she's worked fine for being built up as a villain. It comes off a little weird because she, like... And she just really isn't that interesting to one, and it keeps cutting back to her. And she's being used for a lot of fan service stuff like that. Like, she's the one who calls that Brooke being willing to sacrifice Ace's life to get laid thing.
And again, that could work if it turned out that, if she had some sort of, like, if she had some sort of power over the mind, or if she really was, like, absurdly sexy, but she's really not.
Yeah.
Or at least not as sexy as at least I'm not finding her as sexy as she's apparently supposed to be.
Yeah, it's weird because nobody was really fawning over Layla this way, and the two of them look identical, except she wears her hair differently.
She's in Layla's body.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
she had like morphed it or something.
Like if they had mentioned that she had some sort of like supernatural sex appeal, like she was part succubus or something, like that would be kind of cool. But no, instead it's just. And
also there's this weird okay, whenever we would see flashes of her in the past, she had like this evil cat, which was kind of the most interesting thing about her.
Yeah, there's a kind of a funny chapter. There's kind of a funny page where like a vampire runs in, it's like, I will slay you, Queen Quintessa, in the name of just like, and Quintessa just snaps her fingers. The cat pounces up and sort of slices his head off with its claws. Yeah, that's really fun. Like, yeah, but that.
Wait, no, I think it was Tate that both was going to get killed. Now I think about it, does Quintessa was wanting to like turn him into a replacement for a cat?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, point is, yeah, it's just I don't know. It just feels like they kind of set this character up pretty well, but whenever she actually shows up, she's just boring.
Yeah, yeah. Like the setup isn't really interesting enough to make her to like make you sort of care about her, and like the storyline is that it turns out that this is again kind of a really ingenious storyline. It turns out that her psyche is sort of taking over. She's in Layla's body, and so as a result, Quintessa's mind is sort of like consuming Layla's psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah, like her personality is being lost, and so to save her, Nia and Tia have to go inside Layla's mind and sort of fight Quintessa. And then when they get in there, and that's brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. But then we see what they do with it. Oh, it turns out that like it's not quite as like it's not really funny when it might be funnier if they were all different versions of Layla, but it said they go in and all these different aspects of their personality are other people.
Yeah, and just acting like they normally would, and it's mostly talk between them.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you don't actually see very much of Nina and Tia actually fighting Quintessa. It's about the personalities of Layla fighting Quintessa. That's the perfect example of this sort of problem.
Yeah.
And then, this is it. And then in this, what the fuck? God damn it. Yeah, resend, fuck it.
Which, to be fair, in the middle of this, there have still been some good pages.
Yeah, like they're interesting ideas. And then I'm gonna bring it up now. It never fucking loads. The computer has been really slow these last couple of days. And then, when they go into fuck, wrong button. Damn it. Oh, for the fucking yes, God damn it.
I hope you are enjoying this.
Oh, yeah. They keep cutting back to and when they get really deep into Layla's mind, they find that because Quintessa is sort of taking over, taking her over, like her sort of like consciousness is sort of regressing because there's less and less and less of her to go around, and so she's sort of reverting back to this kind of childlike mind. And again, that's really interesting, and like. I really kind of want to see, I kind of really wanted to see how Nina would interact and like play with this much younger Layla.
Yeah, and the stuff they've done with it's been good. There's barely been any of it.
Yeah, it's like after we see like little kid Layla, like it's in the background. Like in one panel they'll have them talking sort of like as a background, and then. The rest of the page will be focusing on Layla, the parts of Layla's mind trying to fight Quintessa.
Yeah, which
it's kind of infuriating because it's like every new part, it's like this sounds really interesting. Why are they focusing on this? This sounds really interesting. Why are they focusing on this?
Yeah. And I think this would make for a good little way to kind of set into the next point. They've been really unclear on this. This may be the final storyline of the comic.
Yeah, because this kind of made it even worse because we're getting more and more angry about the focus, and then, like we said, the people who do this comic are very busy, and when you get really, really busy, sometimes something's got to take it for the team and get cut, and. It turns out it's got to be Eerie Cuties. Like Eerie Cuties is the work of theirs that's getting less and less focus, and updates are now very sporadic and very like it's kind of it'll update when it updates sort of point.
Yeah, and as you've probably seen, a lot of the pages in the archive, and there are a lot of these are just plain not finished.
Yeah, they'll just put up like an uninked version or an uninked page.
Yeah, and they'll say like to be finished later, and there'll be months at a time to pass before they fix those.
Yeah.
And now they've said the comic. It was really unclear. They say like the comic.
Yeah, it was very badly worded. It's like they're Canadian. I'm kind of wondering if the person who wrote this was only spoke French.
Yeah. Yeah. They say it Magic Chicks are ending, but it's. But they also say like to watch out for what's coming in the future from them. So it seems it was kind of unclear if they were talking about they wanted to wrap up the books and then put them on hiatus for a bit, which kind of came off how it read, or if they were ending them and then doing like combining the comics.
I kind of got the impression they were going to do the first one, but it could go either way. But yeah, we really want to see we really want to see a better focus, and then all of a sudden the updates are so much slower.
Yeah, which, as I said, we liked the most recent page, and we've liked some other pages in this whole storyline. It's like, even now the comics never really got terrible. It just, like... Yeah, like, there's still enough there's enough good about it that we keep coming back. Like, yeah, again, this is really funny. You know, like, the little kid version of Layla is about to be consumed by the evil consciousness of Quintessa, and it's just like she runs up and kicks her in the shins. That's really funny. Yeah.
Like, more of that, like, more of having more, if they could, like, narrow the focus onto Layla and Nina for, like, for the rest of this combat thing, that would be really great.
Yeah.
Honestly, we had kind of a theory about how this was going to end, but and the sad part is, like, now it's gotten to the point where whenever they introduce something that's really interesting, our reaction is no longer, ooh, that's really going to be cool. It's now, how are they gonna fuck it up?
Yeah.
Because, like, we kind of have this theory about how this storyline is going to end, but, like, it's sort of like, does it really matter? Because at this point, it's interesting, so it's obviously not going to happen.
Yeah, it's like, if I were writing, which, for all we know, maybe this is exactly how it'll go down, but if I were writing from this point on, like, how I'd do it is I would have her, like, going through the other personalities and, like, let in Yonder or whatever, while Nina eventually is the only one who can protect her. And
yeah,
then,
like, you know, and which would be kind of cool, you know, like, I'm going to protect my little sister.
Yeah, and then through the power of, like, Sister I Love, Nina manages to find a way to beat her. Like,
yeah.
Like, at the last minute. That's how I would do it.
And don't just have it, focus on the personalities as they're absorbed, and then focus on Nina at the very last second. Like, focus on
Yeah, which that seems to be what they're doing.
Yeah, like, focus, like, have Nina start trying to protect Layla, start failing, and, like, focus on, and, like, build up the desperation she has in protecting her, and then, at the very last second, kick in the sisterly love conquers all thing.
Yeah, like, maybe, at least have it so, like, Tia maybe is, like, turning up a plan or something, like, needs Xena to stall her. Like, something.
Yeah. Like, I want to see how this is going to end. Like, but at the same point, I'm cynical enough at this point that I'm just like, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
That's how many good storylines these people have pissed away. God damn it, I'm not gonna finish Nina. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to finish Tia. Shit.
Yeah. Well, you all can see it in post on our DeviantArt page.
Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna wait until. It's kind of pointless for us to be discussing this, but I don't know if we're gonna wait until Friday to put this up or not.
Yeah. Either way, I guarantee there won't be a new page this week, so this will still be the most recent one.
Yeah, it's just like the updates are so rare at this point. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised we're being as nice to it as we are.
Yeah.
Well,
I think looking over it again, it has like reminded us a lot of like what we liked about to begin with.
Yeah.
Which I said, there are still flashes of that. There are still like little signs of genius to it.
Yeah, and like these people again do seem really talented.
Yeah.
Like almost
it comes off like I said, they're just making a different comment than the one we want to be reading.
Yeah. But in our defense, it does kind of feel the comic is very inconsistent. Is it a romance comic or is it a gag-a-day comic? It seems it's almost like it has two writers.
Like, is it a slice of life or is it The Watch?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, with this setup, you probably could maybe do both, but you sort of have to. They're not written in a way that they sort of bend together that well.
Yeah, it comes off with the comments is just really inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I think that more or less sums it all up. What do you think?
I think I'm tapped out, which is good, because we probably need to end this sometime in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I've been watching the clock.
Yeah, well, I think we're pretty much at the end here, so,
Yeah. So, yeah, if the question is whether or not we'd recommend it, the answer is yes.
Yeah. It is one of those things where...
As much as we have a lot of bad stuff to say about it, but at the same time...
There is enough good there, and it's like... You were saying?
In a way, the reason we're so mad about it is that it's because we like it so much.
Yeah, it feels like it could be so much better than it is.
Yeah, yeah. Which is pretty much like the snobbiest thing we could possibly say.
Yeah. It's true, there are... Yeah. Admittedly, that's one of those things where I find myself thinking that about a lot of comments. But like, EC really comes to mind as just, like, so much wasted potential.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at least with it wouldn't even take that huge of a change to, like, really improve it for me. Like, for other comments I read, like, I tend to go to Misfile as an example a lot, and it's a good one.
It'd be good if it moved.
Yeah, with Misfile, it's kind of reached a point where it's like, for it to really improve at this point, it needs to drastically shake up the formula, like completely change the premise. EC doesn't need to do that; it just needs to become more focused.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I just thought of like a good like sort of quip to sum up the problem with Misfile.
What'd that be?
Would it help if I got out and pushed?
Yeah, yeah.
I probably should have saved on that one in case we ever do it again.
Yeah.
I really want to do it again just for that goddamn picture.
Yeah, we'll be showing that at some point. Like, if you read the comic, you've probably seen it.
Yeah. Likewise, I guess we should probably talk about what we're planning on doing next. Likewise, if we're thinking about I think at this point it's probably a safe bet that we will do Ménage à Trois. Do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we were unsure going into this, but I think
talking about it.
Yeah, we touched on enough in this that I realized we have to do a full episode on it.
Yeah, yeah. Because there are, I don't know, like how positive do you think you're going to be on that? Because I don't think I'm going to be like, oh man.
I'd probably want to reread it first just to be sure, but
yeah, because looking at this, like, yeah, rereading it really does change your perspective.
Yeah. But I said, yeah, I think I would have more positive to say than you would.
Yeah, because I was really starting to hate that comic toward the end.
Yeah.
Toward the end of where I started reading it, I mean, it's still going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
for me, I was more just on board with it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd been bored with it for a long time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually I went to filler and I just never went back.
But yeah, some comics were just, I can't really find a good picture of that dress, but it's getting so hard for me to browse the site, I'm not really going to look. But yeah, we probably will do Ménage à Trois at some point, but I'm trying to think if I don't really know if set in stone what we're going to do. I'd like to do one of the requested comics next.
Yeah, chances are next one will probably be a request. Because we've been thinking doing it, something we want to do, something we want to do request.
Yeah.
Like, granted that it's hard to know how long that will last for, because we do have a list of counts we could hit, but we don't actually know if we'll hit them all.
Yeah. I can think of a couple that I do definitely want to do, like Alone in the Crowd.
Yeah.
And if we're probably not
that one would actually be an excellent companion piece to this episode. I'll just put it out there.
Fuck, you're right. Damn, this is gonna go terribly.
I said you'll probably just have to see this one in post, everyone.
Yeah. Because I can't think of enough to say that I'm gonna be able to finish it.
Yeah. Anyway, Point is, next one will probably be one of the requested ones. We do have a couple we're eyeing for that.
Yeah.
While after that will probably be after that'll probably be Dark Court, depending. We might do something else first.
I think I'm gonna need a lot more time to get through Guna Creek Court.
Yeah.
It's a long fucking. I mean, I'm rereading it. I'm reading it now. I'm binging, and I'm really enjoying it. But I just don't have the tolerance to read it like that quickly. Goddamn.
Well, I mean, 2 episodes away. That's still, by our standards, that's probably at least like a month.
I think I'm gonna need more. I think I'm gonna need at least 2 months, man.
Okay. Well, then after that, we might do like, I don't know, Alone in a Crowd or EA 3 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see about it.
Yeah. But either way, next one will be probably most likely be a request.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shit. I guess that's it. I guess we should sign off then.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed this rant and rambling monologue of ours.
Yeah. This was less focused than we've normally been lately. I'm deeply sorry for that.
If nothing else, I thought it was kind of interesting that our opinion kind of improved as we talked about it.
Yeah, like I think we were kind of caught off guard because like you're talking like, oh yeah, this was really good. Yeah, this was really funny, and like, oh shit, I did laugh at this. Like, yeah, god damn it, now I feel like an asshole. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, like the creators who write the comic are really nice, and yeah, shit.
Yeah. So.
This hand is fucking miserable.
Yeah. Well. All in all, though, I hope everybody enjoyed it. And, yeah, well, I guess we'll see you next time. Also, never mind.
What?
I was just wondering if maybe we should just go ahead and, like, keep it vague, but mention we do want to do something special for our 10th episode.
We have some things in mind. We'll might tease a little bit more as we get into, as it comes closer.
Yeah, I think we won't even announce it in advance. Just want to say we do have an idea in mind.
We have something special planned.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is number 7, and we hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes. Bye.
Goodbye. Wait, shit. There.